said, Jesus said.
Jesus said, if your hand offended, cut it off. If your eye offends you, pluck it out.
Okay.
That's not a literal term. But what that is the eyes are the inlet for sin. So if I'm looking at a woman with my eyes, and I already got lust in my heart, so that sin is coming through the eyes and already cultivating what's in my heart.
Yeah.
So if me controlling my eyes, I make a covenant with my eyes that I can look, but don't stare and don't prolong it. Because in the abundance of the heart, it's going to come out.
Like what would come out?
Lust. If I already am captivated by lust within me, then if I control my eyes, it's a form of discipline.
Yeah.
It's a form of keeping my heart right.
Yeah.
It's a form of me showing my covenant to Lord Yah. First, I got to have a covenant with Him.
Right.
And if I have a covenant with Him, now I control the members of my body. So if I can control the members of my body, my eyes,
Yeah.
my private part, so I got control of all that.
So you don't think that it controls you? You don't think that you have to act on urges and emotions?
You control it or it will control you.
Okay, so let's go back to your covenant that you made with your eyes. Explain the covenant that you made with your eyes and how you made that covenant.
I made that covenant by, again, discipline. I say it to myself,
Okay.
I control my eyes.
Yeah.
And so I say to myself, I'm going to make this covenant with my eyes, and if I do look,
Yeah.
that I'm not going to sit there and lust.
So you just automatically have that much control over your mind, over your eyes, over your life,
Yes.
that when you feel yourself looking too long, you don't just give into that thing.
Yes.
You automatically have the temperance to pull back your eye and your emotion,
Yes.
so
very
that
much
it doesn't lead to lust.
Yes, very much
You
so.
really know how to do that.
Very much so. Because
So what gives you that edge over yourself? Because most men will be like, I can't help it.
Because Jesus said if you look at a woman in lust,
Yeah.
or something to that effect,
Yeah.
you already committed adultery in your heart.
Right.
So again, if I'm looking, what am I looking with? My eyes. And then so I am,
And you know for a fact as a man that if you look too long,
yes,
that lust comes.
yes,
And if lust comes, then you saying that lust is going to lead to you taking action and acting on your members in the flesh.
yes.
So you getting at the root, and the root is what you're looking at. So let me ask you this: what about all these devices, like the one we're on right now? The device in your hand, and you can get the Pornhub, OnlyFans. You can get, I guess, prostitutes or girls that you pay or whatever through Messenger. I'm pretty sure you know about all these things that are in the palm of a man's hands. He doesn't have to interact with those things.
No,
But somewhere in his mind, you do know that they've told me they can't help themselves.
no. Again, that's discipline. If you are governed by the five senses,
Yeah.
especially if you call yourself a Christian, then you're in your flesh. Period.
Yeah.
So therefore, if you're led by the Spirit, then you won't have those devices. Because come on, that's all Satan entices man with. There's devices of the flesh that kicks the flesh in.
So the device in our hand is like the devices that the devil uses.
Yes.
Because if you looking at pornography and perversion in your hand, in the palm of your hand, right, or at some desktop or whatever, he's getting into you so that you start doing stuff.
Yes.
Because it's not the intention. Well, Jesus did say, if you look.
Well, intent always comes before content. So my intentionality always going to play a part in that. Again, if my intent is to look and lust,
Yeah. But is that your intent, or or is it just your nature taking over?
nature is flesh. You have a natural nature.
Because there was a guy, he was like, I'm a king, I'm supposed to have more than, now he's married, he was like, I'm a king, I'm supposed to have more than one woman. And then I said, well, did God tell you that, or the devil? He said, well, the men of God that I'm around, and I say that with air quotes, the men of God that I'm around, they said it's just what men do. What do you say? What do you think?
And then I will ask him which God do these things.
Well, Well.
I'm asking what God those men serve, because the God of the Bible said you have one wife. Even though in the Old Testament Solomon had more than one wife, but to me that was symbolic for Jesus as the church being the bride of Christ. We are a lot of people. A lot of people is part of the bride.
Yeah.
So that was symbolic for Solomon, the reason why he had so many wives. But you know, if that's the case, then why God didn't make 1,000 Eves for Adam?
That's exactly right. He made only one. So men don't have to give over into the lust of their nature. Even if other men encourage them to do so. Because he said that there was the bishops and the pastors and the preachers, they were saying
that's
that.
That's why the church is messed up now.
Wow.
That's why the church is messed up now.
You sure it ain't because women doing something?
Oh, no. The men.
Because the men are the leaders.
Men are the leaders, supposed to be the leaders.
Supposed to be. So when you say supposed to be, what does that leadership look like from the God of creation?
He gave man the instruction. Okay, number one.
Yes.
He gave man the instruction. But again, like I said a few minutes ago, both men and women operate in the Jezebel spirit. So, and the Jezebel spirit is of Satan. So, and
What is the Jezebel spirit?
Do we have to go through all that now?
Well, I mean, you brought it up. You can't bring these things up and then assume that people know what you're talking about.
Well, it's time to end this video right now.
Why?
I don't want to elaborate on that now.
Just tell us what the Jezebel spirit is, especially if it operates in men and women.
The Jezebel spirit, let me try something else. It tries to manipulate, to control,
Yeah.
to eventually dominate. That's the spirit of Satan. Jezebel / Satan.
Okay.
We can elaborate a lot more on that, but that's just a little short term, all right?
And men and women do it.
Men and women both.
And they use sexual.
They can use anything. They
Money.
can use church, hide behind God and do it, sex, money, anything.
So it's a seductive, manipulating
All that fits into
spirit to try to get what it wants.
Yes.
Okay. I think this is good stuff because it doesn't come easy, right? You have to have some level of revelation and insight in order to self-diagnose and then self-subscribe and do it in a biblical way, right?
Yes.
And not make excuses for bad behavior, justifying it, saying, "Oh, this is just what men do."
Yes, but most Christians, they surface gloss the Bible. They don't get deep into the Bible. You know, some people.
Why is that?
Because they don't want to know. Because the deeper you go and the more revelation you get,
Yeah.
the more you are held accountable and responsible to change.
So when they go to church, just like if you go to the doctor, don't you expect the doctor to diagnose and look and tell you what's going on? Why do you think the churches aren't holding them accountable by really teaching and preaching the truth and the sound doctrine like Paul said they should?
Well, since you brought up Paul, and to me, when we say the term Christian / Christianity,
Yeah.
to me, that abuses grace.
Okay.
Today's modernized Christianity abuses grace and is a covenant breaker.
Was Jesus Christian?
No. No. Hell no.
Jesus wasn't Christian.
No. He was Hebrew.
If he was crucified, he would have been. If he was a Christian, he wouldn't have been crucified, would he?
Yeah. A lot of Christians say, well, Christians is a word in the book of Acts, but all that came from the Roman Catholic Church, all right? And during this time, all those guys was Hebrews.
Right.
Matthew, John, Luke, Paul, those guys was Hebrews. So they wrote, they spoke Hebrew and they wrote Hebrew.
Yeah.
So who translated?
Well, King James wrote the translation.
Yeah, King James did the
because he
translation.
had to do the translation because the language is English, but
he
it's
got
still
it from the early so-called church fathers, which were white men. The Bible, don't get me wrong, the Bible is the basis, but it's the interpretation of the Bible. But no, Jesus was not a Christian.
If he was, he wouldn't have been crucified, would he? Because he would have went along to get along to compromise and
He'd
just.
have been popular. Hey, he did go along to get along because as long as he had the bread and the fishes and he was feeding them niggas, they showed up. But as soon as he required discipline,
He did. He said, eat my body, my flesh in John 6, and they walked away. So one more time, you made a covenant with your eyes, which means what?
Yes. To control myself, to control the urges.
If a man had the remote desire, very remote desire, because most of them like feeding them flesh, right? They love it. If he had a remote desire to stop tripping himself up, fumbling through his flesh or whatever, and he wanted to start, what would you recommend that he does?
If you wanted to start making covenant with Lord Yah.
I mean, what does that look like? You assume that people look like this is what you've been doing for a long time. What does that look like? Like, how do I start? What steps do I take? What moves do I make? Like, how do I make a covenant with Yah? Am I qualified? I might be
You always qualify.
up high, down low. I might be having multiple women.
Everyone has a spirit, or intuition that they know. Man is a tripart being, body, soul, and spirit.
Yeah.
Body makes you world conscious. Touch, hear, taste, smell. Your soul make you self-conscious. Love, hate, anger, envy, jealousy. Your spirit man makes you God conscious. Man must worship God in spirit and in truth.
Okay. So they could go to God and he'll guide them. Like once they just start saying, God help me, God show me, God I don't want to be this way, I want to be this way, that will start just activating in them.
Yes, think about it. We go from, we got flesh first, our emotions second, and God last, spirit man. Well, with God is spirit first, which translates to your emotions, and then you can control your flesh.
When you get your spirit right.
When you get your spirit right.
Okay.
Because your emotions.
But they don't nurture their spirit. It's a zygote. I say it's a guy zygote embryo.
You have been indoctrinated with other man's religion for so long. Man.
Well, any religion. Let's be clear. There's no religion in the Bible, and men are walking with God in Genesis 5. What's the religion? There are no rules until Moses get the tablets. So, I mean.
Well, religion got everybody messed up.
Yeah, religion replaces God, and God doesn't want to be replaced.
So, Jesus a religious man?
He was not.
There you go.
He was. The religious people crucified him because they didn't like him messing with their religion and freeing men to be who God called them, because that's what God is, a father.
And what's ironic about religious people?
Yeah.
That crucified Jesus?
Yeah.
They were black people that crucified Jesus. Niggas crucified Jesus. And we still crucified him.
Are we the only ones? Because you know Jesus
I'm referring
does.
to his people.
So Jesus does say in Revelation 2:9 and Revelation 3:9 that those that say they're Jews that are not of the sin God of Satan. So who is saying they're Jews but are not?
But we are the original
I know,
Jews.
but who is Jesus talking about? This is twice. He says it's in back-to-back books in Revelation 2:9, 3:9. Go read it.
Yeah.
He says those that say they're Jews but are not, but are the sin God of Satan. Who is he talking about? Who is saying?
The people in Israel right now, those are the people he was referring to, the impostors. Those are the people he was referring to in Revelation 2 and 9.
Well, how did they become it?
3 and 9.
Well, how did it? Both books says it. So that's what we're talking about.
Yes.
Because those are the
Who's
people.
the only people on earth that has ever said that they are Jews, starting in 1948.
Those that say they're Jews and are not are the synagogue of Satan.
In Israel. That's right.
Wow.
Right now.
So this is
Yahudim.
right. So with that being said, you know, Trump has created this peace agreement that he's already written out with Israel, and they are waiting on their quote unquote Messiah. A lot of Christians are aligned with that ideology, right? But if those particular people don't believe in our risen Messiah, Yahshua Yeshua, Jesus Christ of Nazareth, what Messiah are they believing in?
The Antichrist, false prophet, or the beast system.
So that's what they're.
Yes, that's what's
So
going to come on.
so people who support that don't know that they're supporting
most Christians don't even know.
because they think they're doing the right thing.
I think they're doing the right thing, but like I just said a few minutes ago, Christianity as we know it is fake.
As we know it.
As we know it.
But Christ is not.
If you ask Christians right now who the God made the covenant with, they will most definitely say them. Christians. They will say Christians, but when you read Jeremiah 31, God is specific on who he made his covenant with, which people he made his covenant with. So today's Christianity is a covenant breaker, and it takes grace for granted. It's just that simple.
Yeah, today's Christianity. But to be clear before we close, because we're right at 15 minutes, so thank you so much for your gracious wisdom and insight. But going back to Abraham, that God said, I'm gonna make many nations from you, many, many nations. Abraham actually has children by 3 different women. Hagar with Ishmael. He has Isaac, which leads to Christianity. You have the Arabic and Muslims and Islam.
Ishmael.
But then his last wife was a woman named Keturah.
Keturah.
And she has 6 children, sons by Abraham. And nobody takes in consideration. So all of these are what they call Abrahamic religions. Faiths, beliefs,
Yes.
came from one man, right?
Yes.
One father.
Yes.
Do we have one father?
Yes.
But we only have one Savior. And I'll tell you why. If you really look further, if you look at the sons of God, because they are a lot of Elohim, there has to be a bridge maker between God and man to restore his soul. And so without that, man is condemned to hell by his own self. So there has to be a Savior. But we'll take this back up. Thank you guys so much for joining us. This is, would you like to tell them who you are? Because I will not, unless you want to tell them.
My name is Daryl. And that's all y'all need to know.
And this is also my client. Doesn't he look great? Even though I'm not responsible for the whole thing, I'm getting there. Anyway, hey, you guys take care out there and don't believe the hype. Let's see, are you sure you want to stop streaming this? See what options it give me.